We've all heard it a million times, right? The best investment you can make is in yourself. But let's be honest, that phrase gets thrown around so much, it's kind of lost its punch. What does it actually mean to build a better you? Well, today, we're breaking down a super powerful 15-point blueprint from entrepreneur Fatish Choban. It shows you exactly how to become the kind of person for whom success isn't just a goal, it's inevitable. Everything kicks off with this one kind of counterintuitive idea. We're taught that business is like a formula, that 2 by 2 always equals 4. But in the real world, it just doesn't work that way. The same exact strategy can create completely different results. The variable isn't the plan. It's the person running the plan. The outcome changes depending on who you are. And that really is the million-dollar question we're tackling today, isn't it? This whole thing isn't about chasing success. It's about building a version of yourself where success is just the natural byproduct of who you've become. The core philosophy is so simple but so powerful, you earn as much as you are. So where do we even begin? The first pillar, the foundation for everything, is your internal world. Before you can build a business, a career, or any kind of wealth out there, you have to architect the operating system that runs it all, and that's your mind. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Our reality is basically programmed into us, often without us even noticing. It starts with the stories we hear growing up, from our family, our culture, you name it. Maybe it's money doesn't grow on trees, or people like us just don't do things like that. Well, those stories, they harden into core beliefs about what's possible for us, and those beliefs create the very mindset that filters everything we see and do. This all happens through a part of your brain called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS for short. The easiest way to think about it is like a search engine for your reality. If you believe you're unlucky, your RAS will work overtime to find evidence that proves you right. But if you program it to hunt for opportunities, well, suddenly that's all you're going to see. You literally create the world you live in. And this is how you actually program that system. It's a brilliant shift in perspective. When Fatih Choban wanted to invest in Montenegro, everyone told him it was impossible. They had a whole list of reasons why people fail. But he ignored the 99% who failed and focused on the 1% who actually succeeded. Instead of asking, why do people fail at this, he totally flipped the script and asked, how did it work for that 1%? He modeled the exception, not the rule, and it made $1 million. Now, building this kind of mindset, it takes ruthless focus. You have to be what you could call productively selfish, saying no to things to protect your time and your energy. And you have to be strategically ignorant. Between 2016 and 2019, while building his business from the ground up, Fatih watched 0 movies, listened to 0 new music, and followed 0 pop culture. He was completely ignorant of anything that didn't directly serve his main goal. All right, so you've got this powerful mindset locked in. What's next? Now you have to build your arsenal. This is pillar number 2, getting the tangible skills that turn all that internal potential into real, concrete value in the world. In a world of 15-second clips and endless scrolling, where do we find real, deep value? Well, think about this. It took researcher Jim Collins and his team 17 years to write the book Good to Great. The sheer depth in a resource like that is just, it's on another planet compared to a social media post. True learning comes from these deep dives, not from shallow scrolling. And some of the most valuable skills come from the absolute toughest experiences. The CEO of Starbucks, his first job was cold calling people straight out of a phone book. Imagine that. He faced rejection, insults, people hanging up on him all day long. But in that fire, he wasn't just learning how to sell. He was learning how to manage his own emotions, how to read people just from their tone of voice, how to understand raw human psychology. That's a skill that guarantees you will never go hungry. This is such a crucial point. You have to get this. Skills don't just add to each other, they multiply each other. Look at this chart. Knowing Facebook ads is cool, that's one level of value. But when you add copywriting to the mix, your value doesn't just double, it explodes. It's exponential. Then you stack business strategy on top of that, your income potential just goes parabolic. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1 becomes 11, and then that 11 becomes 111. But here's the thing. You can't do it all yourself. If you want to scale, you have to build systems. This is how you stop working on the $10 an hour tasks and start focusing on the $1,000 an hour work. The formula is right here. First, define the task, step by step. Be super clear. Second, set your metrics. How do you know it's a success? This keeps the quality high. Third, and this is the most important question, ask who or what, with AI and automation, can do this. Finally, you delegate. That simple process is what frees you up for the high-impact work that only you can do.
Okay, so you've architected your mind. You've built your arsenal of skills. The final piece of the puzzle is all about shaping your external world to act as a force multiplier for everything you've just built on the inside.
This might sound kind of crazy, but studies actually show that the single biggest predictor of wealth isn't how hard you work or how high your IQ is. It's your zip code. Now, this isn't just about money. It's about mindset. When you're around people who are operating at a really high level, your whole idea of what's normal and what's possible just completely expands.
Seeing as wealthy friends at university, it totally shattered that mental barrier of, oh, they can do that, but I can't.
So one of the fastest ways to upgrade your environment, get a mentor. Think about it. You can spend the next 10 years trying to figure it all out yourself through trial and error, or you can find someone who's already walked the path and they can just give you the map. It saves you years of costly mistakes and frustration. Mentorship isn't a cost, it's the ultimate shortcut. You are literally buying time. And your physical space, it matters just as much. When Fatih was stuck in a super distracting workspace in Belgium, he did something pretty bold. He spent 3,000 euros, which was a ton of money for him back then, just to rent a hotel room for a month so he could have a quiet place to focus. He knew that upgrading his environment wasn't an expense. It was an investment that would pay for itself over and over again. You know, another amazing way to optimize your world is to learn a new language. There's this great metaphor from Dr. Strange. Most of us are looking at the world through a tiny little keyhole. Learning a new language doesn't just make the keyhole bigger. It's the actual key that unlocks the entire door. It opens you up to new cultures, new business opportunities, entirely new ways of thinking. For Fatih, a trip to the Philippines did exactly that. It unlocked the world of e-commerce and completely changed the course of his life. So, how do we pull all of this together? This isn't just a list of random tips. It is a fundamental shift in how you look at your own life and your own potential. This right here, this is the ultimate takeaway. The goal is not to just write down your dreams and hope they magically come true. The goal is to systematically build a version of yourself for whom those dreams are just your normal, everyday standard of living. It really all boils down to these 3 pillars. First, you architect your mind, so you see opportunity everywhere. Second, you build an arsenal of skills that multiply in value. And third, you optimize your world so your environment is pushing you forward, not holding you back. So let's bring it all back home to this core idea. Success, income, achievement, these aren't things you get by just wanting them more or even by just working harder. They are a direct, one-to-one reflection of the person you have carefully and meticulously built yourself to be. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. The process is clear. The blueprint is right here. The only real question left is which dream that you have right now are you going to start working to turn into your new, everyday standard?